What would you do if this happened to you?
Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. How can I get you help?
They don't tell anybody that I'm in here.
Well, how are you gonna get out?
Tactics.
I have to tell someone that you're in here so you can get out.
No. What?
Can you see my phone flashlight?
Yeah.
Can you stick your hand up? I don't see you.
I'm stuck upside down, so
It's believed that this woman was collecting her blood for a voodoo ritual. If people collect your blood, they can use it to possess you or make voodoo dolls of you that will hurt you. So stay safe out there. That's very scary. Now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. So the other day, a Reddit user posted this photo to Reddit. It's of his apartment at night. He had been complaining of hearing rustling noises in his apartment over the last couple nights. Many users thought they could kind of see something in this area of his kitchen, but I couldn't, so I looked at the brightened version. This is the photo brightened. And I know what you're gonna say, yes, it does look like Keanu Reeves, but look at how tall he is compared to the fridge. But it gets so much worse. This is a video he took of his apartment at night where you can see something happen to the light in the kitchen. But let's look at the brightened version. Yes, it's terrifying, but is it a ghost?
Cursed Games You Don't Want to Play, Part 47, The Phantom Song. If you play this game correctly, you will be rewarded beyond your wildest dreams. However, should you fail, your punishment will be worse than death itself. To play this game, you will need to summon the Phantom Musician. To do this, all you'll need is a piano of any size and type and a bag of ashes. Once you have acquired these items, you'll need to wait until the clock strikes 12 before locking yourself in a room with the piano. This room will need to be absent of all light, natural or unnatural. Essentially, you will be playing in the dark for the duration of this game. Once you have ensured that there is no light in the room, you'll need to dip your fingers in the ashes before playing the keys D, E, A, and D repeatedly on the piano while saying the words, "Are you there?" If nothing happens at this point, that means that someone else is playing the game and you'll need to try again at another time. However, if the room begins to fill with a soft glow, that means you have successfully summoned the Phantom Musician and the game can begin. For the next hour, the musician will play 10 random sets of keys, each one progressively more complicated than the last. Your job will be to remember these keys and play them back to the spirit exactly. Your timing will need to be the same as theirs as well. If you can do this, you will receive 10 years of good fortune, and since this game can be played more than once, you could in theory guarantee yourself a life filled with prosperity. However, if you miss even one key or one beat, you will take the place of the Phantom Musician when you die, playing your ghostly keys until someone else falls into the same trap. Comment whether or not you would play this game, and follow for more.
This guy fully encountered a Skinwalker. Listen closely.
People are convinced that this is a skinwalker pretending to be a human. Skinwalkers can mimic the sounds of their victims in order to lure more victims. In this case, he's screaming for help, hoping to lure in a human and, kill them. What's even scarier is apparently skinwalkers can mimic the sound of their last victim. So this could be his last victim crying for help. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Cursed Games You Don't Want to Play, Part 48. The 1 Hour Ritual. If you play this game correctly, you will receive 1 hour of good luck every day for the rest of your life. However, even the smallest of mistakes will result in a punishment worse than death. To begin the ritual, you will need to summon the players, which are the souls of people who have previously attempted the game and failed. To do this, you will need a single white candle, a large hourglass, and an assortment of building materials, such as wood, fabric, and nails. Once you have acquired these items, you'll need to wait until the witching hour before placing the lit candle in the center of your home. This will represent your soul. Next, you'll need to hold the hourglass above the candle while saying the words, "I seek to do what you could not," to avoid the fate your failures brought. Once you have said these words 3 times in succession, you may flip the hourglass, and the game can begin. For the next hour, you will need to use the building materials you collected earlier to cover every possible entrance to your home. This includes windows and doors, but also peepholes, chimneys, and cracks. If you can do this before the hourglass expires, you'll win the game and receive your reward. However, if you cannot complete the task in the assigned time, your candle will go out and the players will come to collect your soul, adding you to their ranks and imprisoning you for eternity. Comment whether or not you would play this game and follow for more.
If you saw this, what would you do?
These are some extremely unsettling facts, and the last one might be the most disturbing I've ever come across. And I found all of these on Reddit. Number 1, get out there. You see, your home is supposed to be a loving, safe haven in which you go to and feel secure. It's a place where people will find peace, some people will find happiness, but a majority of people will find their graveyard. Now here's what you're saying, what do you mean by that? Unfortunately, it's been calculated that a vast majority of people will actually pass away within 20 miles of their childhood home. So if this wasn't a sign for you to get out there and travel, I don't know what is. Number 2, a liver shot. Now, if you're no stranger to watching boxing or other forms of fighting, you're probably familiar with the term liver shot. It's when one of the fighters will hit their opponent in the liver and all of a sudden their opponent's body will shut down. Well, there's a reason behind this. Your liver is quite frankly one of the most fragile organs in your entire body, but at the same time, it's one of the most important. So important, in fact, that when you get hit there, it will cause your entire body to shut down and you will collapse to the ground. And a liver can be ruptured in one punch, meaning in some cases, if you get hit in the liver the right way, you could die. And finally, creating a murderer. This next fact, for some reason, was one of the most disturbing ones to me personally. Early child malnourishment from ages 0 to 5 can cause serious damage to a young child's brain. It causes on average the loss of 11 to 20 IQ points in the child's adult life. And on top of it, people who are predisposed to this are more likely to be violent in nature. This is because your prefrontal cortex will not develop the same as everyone else's, which can lead to millions of problems. And as we even discussed this right now, there are studies going on trying to see if there's a link between this and murderers. That fact is so dark to me, but it makes sense for today's video because
Terrifying Games You Don't Want to Play, Part 49. A Game of Chance. This ritual is appropriately named and especially dangerous because the player has no control over its outcome. It's left entirely up to luck and what some might call destiny. To play this game, you'll need to summon the mysterious Game Master, a terrifying entity who has also been referred to as the Grim Reaper or Death's Shadow. To do this, you will need a single red candlestick, a blank sheet of paper, preferably white or cream colored, a pen and ink, and 3 coins of the traditional variety. That is to say, one side has heads and one side has tails. Once you have acquired these items, you'll need to make sure you are alone in a room with no windows and no peepholes. If another living being catches a glimpse of this ritual, terrible consequences will follow. Once you have secured the area, you can begin to play. First, you'll need to place the 3 coins on a flat surface with your preferential side, heads or tails, facing down. Next, you'll need to pour a single drop of red wax on the exposed side of each of the coins. This will serve as the game master's side. Finally, you'll need to sign your name on the paper and burn it while saying the words, "I want to play a game, I understand the rules, Spirit, are you there?" 3 times aloud. If you feel a gust of wind and the hairs on your skin begin to stand upright, the game master has entered the room and accepted your challenge. At this point, the rest of the game is quite simple. You'll need to flip each coin one by one and make a wish with every toss. The first wish must be related to love, the second for success or power, and the third wish must be for someone else's sake. If the coins land on your side, congratulations. The game is over and your dreams will come true very soon. But be warned, if the coins land on the Game Master's side, you will be punished in a manner that is equal and opposite to the wishes you made. For example, if your wish was for a friend who is very ill to get better, the Game Master might decide to take his life instead. The Game Master himself is also a malicious entity. If you don't watch the coins carefully, he may try to change the outcome of the game. For this reason, I'd recommend only playing it as a last resort. Comment whether or not you would play this game, and follow for more.
You're not gonna believe what this woman caught on her camera. Now it's scary because was this girl actually being kidnapped? But what's scary is that this is a common thing that criminals will do. They have one person playing the victim, screaming for help. You run out to go help them, and instead, they kidnap you. It's scary because you don't know if she actually needed help. Stay safe out there, folks.
These are some extremely unsettling facts, and I found all these on Reddit. Number 1, doctor mistakes. Now, nobody really likes going to the doctor. A lot of the times when you go, you'll get some bad news or things you don't really want to hear. But this is going to make it worse. It's been estimated that over 250,000 people die a year due to doctors' mistakes. And if you thought that was bad, it gets worse. Number 2, bad handwriting. This fact is worse than the last one, because it's been estimated that 7,000 people die a year due to doctors' bad handwriting. And to add on to that, according to a 2006 study, it showed that over 1.5 million people get injured because of a wrong prescription due to a doctor's bad handwriting. Oh my gosh. Number 3, war crimes. Now this might be the most sinister thing I have ever heard. During World War II, Japan used biological warfare on China. And I hear what you're saying. How did they do it? Japan dropped a bomb infested with fleas carrying the bubonic plague onto China. And that's just wow. And finally, US mistakes. Speaking of bombs, we all know what a nuclear bomb is, right? The most destructive warhead on Earth. The United States is one of the few countries on Earth that has a surplus of nuclear bombs in case we need to use them for war. And let me stress, these are some of the most destructive bombs on Earth. But here's a fun fact for you. The United States have lost 6 nuclear bombs. We have no idea where they are. They're completely unaccounted for. And that's not good. Anyways, I know hearing these cannot be easy, but that's why.
Here's another video that's blowing people's minds. Looks like they dug right into the middle of the earth. At least, that's what I thought when I first saw the video. Explanation coming in, part 2.
These are facts that could save your life one day. And I found all of these on Reddit. For my people that live in an area where tornadoes are pretty rampant, this one could save your life. Tornadoes are known for destroying just about everything in their path, especially when they go through houses. But if you look at a lot of pictures of homes that have been destroyed, there's one thing that remains intact: the bathtub. This is because the bathtub is one of the most structurally sound parts of your home. So if a tornado is coming, you don't have somewhere safe to hide, like a basement or something like that. It's been said to go in a bathtub and lay down in it with a pillow covering your body to protect against any debris debris and pray to God. And this could end up saving your life. Let's say you find yourself in a situation where you just got stabbed. I don't know how you got there, but it happened. If you were ever stabbed, do not, for the love of God, take out the knife. The knife will serve as a plug and stop any extra blood loss that you might experience. It may not feel great, but in the long run, it could save you. This series is all about making your life easier, and if you want another way to make your life easier, make sure to go check out my bio. But finally, if you ever find yourself in a subway and you get hit down onto the tracks, don't waste your time trying to lift yourself up if the train is nearby. Just about all subway stations have a little crawl space underneath just in case this very situation happens. You can go underneath, crawl into the safe space, and just wait. Now look, I hope this was a nice switch up from all the negative videos I normally make and brought you some joy and maybe helped you out because
You won't believe what these urban explorers caught on camera. Watch closely. That, my friends, is why you don't explore abandoned places.
These are videos humans were never meant to see, part 20.
Okay, so we all know how dangerous and scary sharks are. But I guarantee none of you ever seen a shark eat a camera and then see what the inside of a shark looks like. The video I'm about to show you shows a shark eating a camera, and you get to see what the inside of a shark looks like. This video is absolutely mind-blowing.
Here's another one of the most interesting and terrifying SCPs in existence. If you are unaware, SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, and it is an organization in charge of locating and protecting us from things that operate outside of natural law. Before I get to the SCP, I'm giving a shout out to one person in the description of the next video. All you have to do is press share copy link and comment what SCP I should do next. If you don't know any, just pick a random number. Today we'll be discussing SCP-3008, the Infinite Ikea. When you enter SCP-3008, you may not notice that anything is wrong, until you search for the exit and notice it's gone. This is because as soon as you enter those doors, you are transported to an alternate dimension. It is populated by creatures made entirely of skin with no facial features dressed as Ikea employees. They are peaceful while the lights are on, but when the lights go off, they become very violent. It is currently unknown how many people are lost in the store.
This woman's dog saved her from a skinwalker.
Why are you running?
What was this dog seeing that we couldn't see? I don't know, but dogs have a sixth sense or something. Like and follow for more spooky crap.
Here's some haunting last photos of people, part 4. Pavel Kashin was a Russian parkour artist who was famously known for doing backflips on the edges of buildings. He loved the sense of danger in these stunts, but his love for the sport would later be his downfall. This is the last photo taken of Pavel, which shows him in the midst of doing his final stunt. The stunt itself was successful, but after landing, he lost his footing and fell 16 stories to his death.
What would you do if this happened to you?
The reason I had to move out of my flat. I was home alone.
The longer you stare at this photo, the more disturbing it gets.
Okay, so the photo I'm about to show you might be the scariest photo ever. It's just a picture of a normal girl. But the longer you look at it, something disturbing happens. You might not be able to sleep after watching this.
This is the craziest conspiracy theory. On June 3rd, 3-year-old Riker Webb went missing, but his parents didn't report him missing right away. It took them over 2 hours to do so. Now, it was a miracle because 2 days later, he was found. But he was found in different clothes that he was reported missing in. Not only that, but he was found 2.4 miles away from his home. Now, don't come for me, this is not my conspiracy theory. But a lot of people think that this is not Riker. I mean, his face shape is completely different, his eyes are closer together. If this is not Riker, then who is it? I was looking at the comments and someone else believes that this is actually a Skinwalker. They believe that Riker was killed and then a Skinwalker took on his appearance. I don't know, but that was the conspiracy theory. It blew my mind. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, what conspiracy theory should I talk about next?
Plane crash info is one of the most disturbing websites on the internet. Now, if you don't know what this is, you're obviously probably wondering, what is this website? This website documents the final sounds of planes right before they crash and posts them to the site. But it doesn't capture the outside of the plane, it captures the inside. Every fearful scream and shriek from the passengers within the planes that are going down is documented and posted to this site. In some of them, you can hear the pilots trying to sort out what to do to get the plane back up into the air and working again, and it's just so dark.
It has been cleared about heading to New Jersey. The outbound Lincoln tunnel looks a lot better for you in New Jersey. Get the water! Get the water! Get the water!
It's a very, very disturbing website, and I have to urge all of you guys not to go visit it, but if you choose to, you'll understand why.
Here's how you could survive Minecraft mobs if they were real. First up, we've got the Creeper. This four-legged entity is one of the most dangerous in the Minecraft world, as its body contains up to 50% more gunpowder than a generic block of TNT. In-game, the easiest way to defeat this mob is to wait for it to ignite and then get out of its blast radius as soon as possible. However, this can be rather risky. If you encounter it in real life, I'd recommend using ranged weapons or simply giving it space. If you don't go looking for trouble, you have a better chance at staying alive. And speaking of ranged attacks, next up we have Skeleton. Despite being armed, I actually believe that this mob wouldn't be all that difficult to defeat in real life. All you have to do is aim for its joints and the rest of its body will naturally collapse. Or just hit it with your car. It's using primitive weaponry, and this is the modern era. Finally, we have the classic zombie. This entity is slow, weak, and incapable of entering closed buildings. This entity is only really dangerous because of its ability to infect its victims and create new mobs. So as long as you take care of it quickly, you shouldn't have a problem. Comment which mob you think would be the most dangerous in real life, and follow for more. If you're ever walking in the woods in Ohio and you hear the sound of an infant crying, be very careful what you do next. You may have stumbled across Crybaby Bridge. According to legend, years ago, a young woman living in central Ohio allowed her mind and heart to be poisoned by anger towards the world. That poisonous anger would eventually result in tragedy when she decided to take her own life and the life of her young son by jumping off of a high bridge and drowning in the waters below. Unfortunately for her, because of the manner in which she died, she was unable to move on to the next life, instead being cursed to wander the earth in search of her lost son. If you're unfortunate enough to encounter her spirit, don't run. Instead, back away slowly without a word. And most importantly, if she asks you if you're her son, you'll need to respond with these words. Who can say, the past is the past. Leave a comment if I should continue this urban legend series, and follow for more. Here are 3 real ways to survive Ohio. The land of Ohio is a mysterious pocket dimension located within the continental United States that is widely regarded as being one of the most dangerous places known to man. With that being said, the easiest way to guarantee your survival of this state is to simply avoid visiting it altogether. This should be a relatively easy task since no one actually lives in Ohio. Remember, if you think you have family or friends to visit there, that's just the demons whispering in your ear, and those thoughts should be ignored entirely. Secondly, if you do somehow wind up in this desolate place, remember to ignore the locals at all costs. Their lonely state might inspire you to take pity on them and engage them in conversation, but be warned, if you speak to them, you will become as they are. Finally, above all else, you'll need to try and keep moving at all times in one direction. Time and space work differently in the state of Ohio, and it may feel like you've been walking in circles for hours or even days. But remember, every step that you take is a step closer to freedom. Leave a comment if you're enjoying this series, and if you know anyone from Ohio, tag them. It might help them escape. Let's talk about another one of the internet's most tragic stories, Opal. Opal is an Adult Swim short created by singer-songwriter Jack Stauber. You probably know him for hits like Peppermint and Buttercup. The video starts by showing us a happy family in a pretty white house singing to a young girl named Opal. Opal is quite happy in this scenario, as they each tell her that they see her and compliment her in different ways. But Opal sees a mysterious house through the window and it seems to worry her. Opal crosses the street that night despite the warnings of her family to visit the house. There she is greeted by an entirely different family that refers to her as Claire, and each is singing about their miseries. The grandfather is blind and has a smoking addiction. The father is extremely self-conscious of his looks and even insults Claire to make himself feel better. And the mother is dealing with various addictions and the trauma of an incident she was a part of. Opal runs from the family and locks herself in a room where she looks across the street towards where the happy house was. But instead she is greeted with a billboard. Anything look familiar? It bears a striking resemblance to the happy family scene earlier in the film. It is at this point that we realize that Opal is Claire and that the happy family is just a coping mechanism in her head. The film leaves us with this sad scene. And there you go, the sad story of a girl trapped with an abusive family, reinventing her reality within her head.
So a lot of people think that this could be La Llorona and not a Skinwalker. So La Llorona actually means the weeping woman. One legend said that she was so distraught that she actually drowned her own kids. So you'll often hear her weeping beside a river, mourning the loss of her children. I'm gonna cover this more in part 2. This, my friends, is why I'm scared of snakes. That's like the Titanoboa over there. I mean, obviously it's not, but I'm glad that this thing went extinct. For those of you that don't know, the Titanoboa is a real snake that was alive on this earth 60 million years ago. It's 50 feet long and weighed around 2,500 pounds. It's crazy. Let's hope scientists don't try and resurrect this thing. Like and follow for more spooky content.